Today's video is going to be about the 5 basic items you guys need to get into long range shooting. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for returning. Really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch the video. So to start that, one of the first items I highly recommend everyone get is going to be one of these. It is a Garmin Xero X1 Chrono. For those of you that don't know, a chrono is something that measures your muzzle velocity. So you set it up, you can either use a tripod that it comes with, like one of these here. Set this tripod up, you set it 5 inches from the front of the gun and the muzzle kind of offset. You put in your information on the weight of the bullet you're shooting, and it measures the muzzle velocity over the course of the string of fire. One of the reasons we want this is that we can figure out what our actual muzzle velocity is. You can use the box of ammunition that tells you what the muzzle velocity is. But I don't recommend that because that muzzle velocity is based off of that round being shot out of a certain length barrel. So the numbers will be different depending on what gun you're actually shooting that ammunition out of. So like my gun, I know it shoots 2740, that's the FPS. But the muzzle velocity on the Hornady box for 147 ELDM match is actually a little bit slower. It's right around 2680, I believe. So you want that accurate muzzle velocity because that number is really important, because that's going to go into our second piece of gear that we're going to want, which is a ballistic solver. So you can use something like this. This is a Kestrel 5700 Elite with AB in it. Essentially it's a ballistic computer. You input all the information, you put in your environmentals and all of that, and it returns you a firing solution. That's essentially what you're going to use to hit that target. So you put in the information, it'll spit something out like 5.7 mils, and that's what you're going to want to hold for shooting 780 yards with my gun at shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor. These are a little expensive though, so if you guys can't afford something like this, there are some free options. I'll show some photos of them in here as well, but that's going to be essentially Geoballistics, which is Vortex's version, or you can do what's the same program in this is AB Quantum. It's an app you download it on your phone. It's free. There's a free version, I'm sorry. Or you can use the paid version, Quantum. You get a lot more of the features that are available in this. And then the same thing, you just input that information, uses the local atmospherics. If you don't have a Kestrel, they'll use the atmospherics based off of the closest airport to you guys. Okay, the next piece of gear that I highly recommend for long range shooting is a good quality shooting bag. So this here is a Game Changer medium heavy fill in a wax canvas bag. So essentially this is what you're going to use to shoot your gun off props. You can use it as a rare bag if you need it, but essentially this is what I shoot most of my stages on, essentially, as I'm using this bag. Like I said, it's the heavy fill. It's about 5 pounds. There are some lighter fills. There's like a Specs fill, I think is what it's called, or Specs Light, and that significantly reduces the weight of the bag. But shooting the PRS style matches, I like the heavy fill. I highly recommend it. Our fourth piece of equipment that I recommend for shooting long range is going to be something like these SIG Kilos. So these are the SIG Kilo 10Ks Gen 2. They are a little pricey, so if you're just starting out, I don't recommend these. For the first year and a half, almost 2 years, I started shooting. I was just using a Cabela's special. You can go right to Cabela's or Bass Pro. They sell them behind the counter. It's a combo deal. Usually they have like a 10 power Vortex bino with one of their handheld laser rangefinders. I bought it for bow hunting, and like I said, it worked for the first 2 years, essentially, of me shooting. As I got more serious, I upgraded to something like these. The 10Ks, they do have AB Quantum built into them. So it's very similar to like the Kestrel where I upload all my data into it. SIG has its own app where you can go in, you can build a profile, and you can set it to your binos. And then when you laze something with your binos, it gives you the firing solution here. So if you're shooting something like NRL Hunter where it's a find and engage type match, or a blind match as it's called, or a blind stage, they're very beneficial because you don't have to mess with the Kestrel. You start spotting for your targets, you find your targets, laze it, okay, you have your firing solution, and you can write it down. So highly recommend something like this. There are other options. You have the Vector 10Ks. Leica also makes a pair. Excuse me. Leica also makes a pair, but they're significantly more expensive than these. I believe they're in like the $3,800 price range. But like I said, you don't need these. You can start with the hunting special combo deal from Cabela's or Bass Pro, and I'm sure there's some other places you can buy them that have the regular binos in it, usually a 10 power or an 8 power with a handheld laser rangefinder. In between the two of those, that's very you can get very far with just using those two options. And fifth or last item I suggest for long range shooting is to have some kind of arm board or just a notebook with pen and paper. So with having a notebook and pen and paper, that's important. That you can write down all your data. You can write down what your muzzle velocities are so you don't forget them. You can write down your dope for all your different distances. And after doing it a while, you can start memorizing it. And if you're shooting a match, like an NRL Hunter match or something like that, one of these is nice because you just wear it, you laze your target, you use one of those dry erase markers, you write it down, and then you can just erase it when you move on to your next stage. Yeah, so that's the 5 items I recommend for long range shooting. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments, message me on Instagram at Shutter and Scope, and stick around because we're going to have a lot more cool videos coming out really soon. Thanks for watching the video, guys.